Thank you all for being here tonight. We will begin with the invocation by the Reverend Ellen Gernon of First and Westminster Presbyterian Churches here in Cape Girardeau, and follow that with our Pledge of Allegiance. If you all please would join us and rise.
Let us pray. Creator God, Lord of all and ruler of the universe, we give you thanks for this gathering of the Cape Girardeau City Council. We thank you for each council member, for city staff, and for our mayor. Bless them in their work. Open their minds and hearts that they might truly seek your guidance in all their decisions. Help them to listen well to one another, to all our citizens, and especially to you, Lord. May all voices be heard, all opinions considered, all solutions explored, and all people respected, that our community will thrive. In your holy name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend. We don't have anything under study sessions or presentations tonight, so we can begin with communications and reports from the council. I would like to begin and just take a few minutes and highlight a good bit of the response that a lot of our city departments have been engaged in over the past few weeks as we've been dealing with this bad weather and the storm. Certainly things could have been worse. We're thankful they were not. We did not see large-scale power outages that were being discussed as a possibility initially, and certainly that have happened in other parts of the country pretty close. But there was a lot of hard work in this area nonetheless, and I really wanted to highlight some of that. I first wanted to thank Ameren. They came out with a lot of advance notification and preparation that they conducted in our area. Again, turns out that some of that preparation didn't have to be employed, but I do want to urge everyone to go to ameren.com. You can get information there on how to prepare for weather events at your home. You can sign up for alerts, see how to report outages directly to Ameren. And with spring weather rolling in, I think now is a perfect time to get on the ball with that. So just wanted to put that little PSA out. We have many first responders in our city who are always on call to deal with any kind of disaster, and that was certainly the case last week. Our Cape Girardeau Police Department was quick to respond to a handful of motor vehicle crashes, and certainly the weather can make that even extra concerning. And about 30 stranded motorists during the worst of the weather that they had helped deal with. So we're greatly appreciative. The Cape Girardeau Fire Department had a large number of fires to deal with here locally in the past week, 3 happening at the same vacant structure. And so at a time, I just really want our citizens to know that, or to recognize that as we're all trying to stay home and stay warm, our firefighters had a very busy week. You all know, many of you here are in the department. Very busy week, engaged in what is always dangerous work, but certainly the weather made it even more so. I wanted to say I saw something interesting. I was walking at Cape County Park this morning, and I saw several members of the Cape Fire Department getting ready out in the middle of the lake there, getting the day ready for the department's ice rescue training. If anyone participated in that, would you raise your hand? Let us know if that happened today. Did that go on? Several folks? Yeah. Well, it just made me, it was a great reminder. Certainly, I know that all of us are aware of all the different intricate training that goes on in the fire department, police department, et cetera. But I don't know if all of our citizens are always fully aware of all that you guys are engaged in throughout the year. And certainly a ice rescue training or even an ice rescue is something that strikes fear in the hearts of many of us. So greatly appreciative of the training that goes on throughout the year. Speaking of keeping our citizens safe, I also want to highlight the work that a group, probably one of our most unheralded departments of our city, and that is our Public Works Department. I do know that these staff members have been greatly appreciated during the week, and I hope those staff members have felt that as well. Heard a lot of compliments on how great the roads were just right off the bat in dealing with the during the snow and whatnot. Just a little data I wanted people to be aware of. A few stats from Public Works. During the week where the storm was and the winter weather was at its worst, Public Works put in over 8,500 miles of work, used 595 tons of salt, 8,000 gallons of brine, over 1,000 man hours put in, over 200 backhoe hours and 60 high lift hours, all used to clear intersections and especially in the downtown area. And also during this time, the city saw 4 water main breaks, which were suspected to be due to the very cold temperatures. And this, of course, required our Public Works Department to be out fixing those things during what at times was sub-zero temperature. So greatly appreciative of all the work that went in there. Lastly, I wanted to mention all the volunteer work that has been going on at the Cape Warming Center, held at Grace United Methodist Church this past 2 weeks. This is not a city initiative in any way, but it's simply a collection of churches and nonprofits and individuals all coming together to provide food and shelter for our unhoused residents during what are unsafe winter conditions. Last I heard, there were more than 100 individuals who have gone through that warming center in the past 2 weeks. So if you'd like to learn more about that, you can go to capewarmingcenter.org. So a lot of extraordinary effort has been put out in our community. I think it really shows a community that knows how to pull together and help each other, especially in difficult times. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has been engaged in what's very important safety and life-saving work during dangerous times. So thank you for that. Other council members, reports?
I was going to say something, but I couldn't say it any better. Really, just thank you to all the city staff. I think today 41 felt pretty incredible after all these really cold days. And so it's really nice to see that people are finally, or we're finally defrosting. But the amount of strain and stress that this does put on city services, it's something that we appreciate as a council, all of the work that goes into it from city staff, from every department that gets involved, from our public information officers. It truly is a citywide effort to get everybody back up to where they can run and function and business can be transacted in the city of Cape Girardeau. So thank you to all the city units, everybody involved with the community that gets out there and helps in these situations.
David?
Yeah, and I don't want to continue to echo all the comments are made, but I will have to admit that I was watching all of this from a ways at 84 degrees looking over the Pacific. But I did see so many pictures, videos, emails, and text. Now, since been on council, they have increased tenfold. And there's no shortage of opinions, of course. But I'm telling you, what I saw was, I don't want to be corny about it, it was like the American spirit. Because I saw the water main breaks, and I know Public Works was just kicking tail. Police, fire, across the board. And I got reports from my good friend that was in Dallas that took the flight from Dallas to Cape to see his folks. And even though it was a delayed, he's a big airline guy. He was a chief exec. And he's like, man, they handled it so well. And that's a flight I'm going to take from now on. Anyway, even though I was very comfortable where I was, I know how uncomfortable you were. And I felt for you. But anyway, it just made me feel good. Knowing our town, our people, when push comes to shove, we do the right things, we help one another. And it's, I think that's pretty pretty awesome and speaks volumes of us here in Cape Girardeau.
Brad?
If I may say something on behalf of the small business owners in the community and the surrounding area, give them a look when you get thawed out and you get out and about. Maybe pass on that corporate chain restaurant this Friday or Saturday and hit up your local mom and pop, because this last week's been very, very, very difficult for many small businesses, but particularly the restaurant industry. So, like I said, from a small business owner to those out there, I just encourage you to give those other mom and pops and your local one sitting right here in the room here. So give them a look, and they will gladly take your money and serve you well with some really good food. So that's it.
Thanks. Anyone else? Nate?
Yeah, two things, or well, echo what everybody said here, but right on the, I guess on a lighter note, right on the cusp of the winter storm when it was hitting, we had a big event at the Show Me Center with the largest, maybe the only indoor barbecue fest, and it's hosted here in our town. And we had good representation by our first responders there. Our firefighters were there braving that and competing, and they came up short, although I personally think you guys should have won. It was exceptional what you guys had there, but what a great event. I was worried for them that all the work went into it. People come from all over the nation to compete in that, and then when the storm hit, it kind of, I thought maybe it would be a skeleton crew there, but there was a lot of people came out, and it was a good showing, and it was good to see that. And then on another note, just to build off of what everybody else has said, there's not enough gratitude to go around for everything that goes on. It's in times like this that you really, you appreciate the services that the city offers, and that's why the city staff is here and they do what they do. And they, of course, they are, all of the departments play a role, whether that's every department that's been mentioned already, to keeping the operations going like it normally would with the Parks and Rec and the events there, and just like I said with the When Pigs Fly event. But one of our leaders that I know, who doesn't only lead and help Dr. Haskin, but does an exceptional job leading, but also it's probably second to none as far as leading by example, and that's our deputy city manager. And I know he put in a lot of, Trevor Pooley, I know he put in a lot of hours and work helping lead and direct, and I just wanted to call him out specifically for all the work that he always does, but especially in times like this. And it's a great value and asset to, along with all of our department heads, but for us to have here on our city staff. So.
All right. Anything else? Okay. Thank you all. Moving on then to items for discussion. Is there anyone tonight here to appear as an advisory board applicant? If so, you may come up. Nope. Okay. Moving on, we will have the consent agenda review. Dr. Hasker.
Mayor, thank you, council. We added D6, 7, 8, and 9. D6 is basically a request to move forward with the DWI grant enforcement application. That is an application that we apply for each and every year. D7, of course, is another request to move forward with the hazardous moving violation grant. Again, another grant that we annually apply for, that the police department is certainly requesting that we do that once again. And D8 is a request to enter into a continuing operating agreement with CMO Ready to provide economic development services in the city of Cape. We previously had an agreement with them back in the summer, I think, but this agreement with no modifications to it will continue to move forward. I think this one is set for about 4 years. And finally, D9, Carla and Derek Cornelius out at the Old Business Park would like and respectfully request that you grant them an extension of the special use permit to build their billboard out there. Mayor, that concludes the review.
Thanks, Dr. Haskin. We'll move into regular session. Begin with the call to order and the roll call vote. Ms. Davis.
Mr. Bliss?
Here.
Mr. Cantrell?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Mayor Kinder?
Here.
Mr. Presson?
Here.
Ms. Randall?
Here.
Mr. Thomas?
Here.
All right, thank you. Council, we have an agenda before us. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the agenda as stated, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That carries. We have one public hearing tonight. I'll open the public hearing to consider vacating the city's interest in North Frederick Street right-of-way between Olive Street and Mason Street in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Is there anyone who wishes to appear for this public hearing? No? All right, seeing none, then I will close the public hearing. It will be an agenda item below. We now will move to the consent agenda. Mr. Young, would you please read that?
Bill 26-4, an ordinance annexing land adjacent to the Cape Girardeau Regional Airport into the city limits of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 26-4, an ordinance annexing land adjacent to the Cape Girardeau Regional Airport into the city limits of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 26-5, an ordinance amending Chapter 30 of the Code of Ordinances of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri by zoning newly annexed property adjacent to the Cape Girardeau Regional Airport to as A1 Airport District. Bill 26-5, an ordinance amending Chapter 30 of the Code of Ordinances of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri by zoning newly annexed property adjacent to the Cape Girardeau Regional Airport as A1 Airport District. Bill 26-6, an ordinance extending the boundaries of Ward 2 to include property newly annexed into the city limits of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 26-6, an ordinance extending the boundaries of Ward 2 to include property newly annexed into the city limits of the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Bill 26-7, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute a grant agreement with Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission to fund air service promotion and marketing at the Cape Girardeau Regional Airport. Bill 26-7, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute a grant agreement with Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission to fund air service promotion and marketing at the Cape Girardeau Regional Airport. Bill 26-8, a resolution authorizing grant application to MoDOT for DWI enforcement, authorizing the city officials to execute all necessary grant documents. Bill 26-9, a resolution authorizing grant application to MoDOT for hazardous moving violation enforcement and authorizing city officials to execute all necessary grant documents. Bill 26-12, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for services with Southeast Missouri Regional Economic Development, Inc., aka SEMO Ready.
All right, thank you, Mr. Young. Council, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor then of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That agenda carries. Nothing removed from the consent agenda tonight. We have two new ordinances to discuss tonight. First is Bill 2610, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding with Cape Girardeau County, City of Jackson, and Southeast Missouri State University regarding a joint emergency operations center. This is the first reading. Mr. Pulley.
Thank you, Mayor, Dr. Haskins, Council. This ordinance authorizes the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding with Cape County, City of Jackson, Southeast Missouri State regarding the Joint Operations Center. On January 20th, at the previous council meeting, Sam Herndon, Cape County EOC Director, presented the MOU during study session to the City Council. The Emergency Operations Center is a facility designed for managing disaster emergencies. The Joint Emergency Operations Center shall be activated when there is a major incident that causes a significant life safety threat or moderate to heavy property damage, potential or actual business disruption, or has potential to cause significant impact to community. Staff recommends council to pass and approve ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement with Cape County, Cape Girardeau, and Jackson, and SEMO.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to comment on this bill? No? All right, seeing none then, council, is there a motion to approve Bill 2610?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, council, discussion? Mr. Pulley, I just had a question. Regarding the activation, I guess. The MOU talks about, I guess, is it that all the parties would get together and basically discuss every situation on a case-by-case basis and determine, kind of vote or
Yeah,
discuss.
there's actually 4 different levels of activation.
Yeah.
And you have Cape City, SEMO, Jackson, and Cape County that can activate the EOC. These are very important entities that work very well together during the storms last year.
Right.
It was activated out at Cape County. Sam Herndon, our fire chiefs from Jackson and all over, and us was able to help all citizens in the city of Cape, as well Delta and others. So it is very important for centers of this nature to move forward. So you have your fire, your police, your public works, utilities, water from Cape, Jackson, all over, be able to work together and help the citizens if it just happens in Cape or if it happens in Jackson, they can use some of our staff that have the knowledge to move forward, just as fire and police.
I guess I know all these agencies have a history, right, of working well together and a professional, knowledge. The process, though, would be that they would all get together and decide, yeah, this is really needed, and this is the level we need to activate at.
Yes, ma'am.
Together. That's the kind of how it, okay. I'm just wondering how that, any other questions?
Yeah, I can understand the mayor's
Just a
interest
question.
or
Concern?
questions.
Yeah.
And I think once it gets to be full up around, once it's operational, I think, I'm sure they'll do an exercise scenario. And I think it'd behoove us as city leadership to be able to not participate, but be a fly on the wall so that we see how it advances as the event unfolds. Because it'll start with a truck wreck and chemicals, and then it'll, maybe escalate, especially if you throw a fire on there or something like that. It'll escalate to maybe a mass casualty or a mass hazard event. And I think that would really be something so city leadership understands what happens when that jock is called up and fully manned and enthralled in an incident, that we can see that, and all these questions will be answered. Because it is a big working, it's just, there's a lot of moving parts. I got to see it at the National Guard level with, New Madrid seismic zone. And it's almost overwhelming, but it's amazing how all those pieces and parts actually get things done. And I think it's awesome that we've got to have Jock here. I mean, that's pretty amazing for us. It's a great location between St. Louis and Memphis. There's, no question about it that it's going to be a great thing for us, but absolutely to understand it and be able to communicate it to our citizens, what that is, I think it's important that we have a firm grasp on that.
I agree, sir. Currently, I know Sam and our fire chief are working together with city staff and other city staff to make sure they're trained on the training they need. That encompasses several different online classes and in person. This is the first step, and as we move forward, there's going to be hands-on training with a lot of different city staff. And as we move forward, you'll be kept abreast of all of it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate it lined out a bit in section 7 here, and that'll, appreciate seeing that. Sounds like it's been very well thought out by everyone involved, so. And I'm sure I appreciate too the fact that, I think it mentions back further, that amendments can be made. This will probably be a work in process, and every disaster might, bring some new thought to it. I guess this whole thing was born really, maybe the thoughts have been bumping around for a while, but last spring, sounds like, since then, this has been developed.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, good. Okay. Any other questions, council? All right, seeing none then. All in favor of Bill 2610, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That carries. And thanks to everyone. Chief Morris, I know you've been heavily involved in this. Thank you for putting this all together. And lastly, Bill 2611, an ordinance vacating the city's interest in a portion of Frederick Street right-of-way in the city of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. It's the first reading. Mr. Pullen.
Thank you, Mayor. Brick and Ivy LLC owns property on both sides of the unimproved North Frederick Street between Olive and Mason Street. Brick and Ivy has requested the vacation of the unimproved right-of-way to have extra land to develop the area they are considering. The request is to vacate North Frederick Street from the south right-of-way line to Olive Street to the north side right-of-way to Mason Street. This area is 340 feet long by 60 feet wide. Since Brick and LLC own both sides of the land on either side of the unimproved right-of-way of North Frederick Street, they will be the recipient of the entire vacated right-of-way. There are no utilities, and the city has no vested interest in the unimproved right-of-way. Staff recommends city council council after the public hearing.
Is there anyone in the audience wishing to comment on Bill 2611? All right, seeing none. Council, is there a motion to approve Bill 2611?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, all in favor of Bill 2611, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Pulley. No appointments tonight, and no one registered to appear on a topic not on the agenda. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all for your presence here tonight.